power of changing your mind. Who do you know who's a flitter? You know, like, always on the run, I want these new ideas, all full of innovation. What's that? What's that? Well, I want to know. I want to know what that is. I'm interested. You know anybody like this? They want to know, they want to embrace innovation. They want to have original perspectives, and they do, about customers, markets, latest trends, competitors, policies. Know people like that? Sometimes, also, the latest thing is the thing. You know, they're like crazy about fads. Sometimes they have this trail of 10-minute-ago ideas behind them as well, right? And perhaps if they just stuck to their ideas for a little while, they might cause some unstoppable transformation, right? So we have the flitters. If you are a flitter, you are very welcome. Now, who do we know who's a boulder? Solid in their ideas, absolute conviction, will not change their mind. Now, these people, their ambition has been set since they were 7 years old on the swings, and it is big, big ambition. And they are really knowledgeable. They know their stuff. They're experts. Anybody know anyone like that? Anyone feel they are one of those? A boulder? They're really informed, and boy, do they know it. The boulders, they're the kind of person, you bring another opinion to a boulder and you are in for it, if it doesn't align with their worldview. If you make a change in your mind, you may be flimsy. You're flimsy, U-turn. Never change your mind. And the boulders perhaps would do better if sometimes they did change their minds. Fair to say? Any boulders here? You are welcome. So we have the flitters, we have the boulders, and we have my dear friend, Peter Cowley. Neither and both. Some of you may remember Peter's motto. It was his WhatsApp status for a while. Strong opinions, loosely held. It really relates to a value that Peter had, which was to always have the best informed understanding of the situation and to make his decisions accordingly. He would decide things, he would take action. Peter, as we know, was an angel investor, he was an entrepreneur, he was an unapologetic intellectual. Fair to say? And he was obsessed with having a positive impact on the world. Obsessed. In case you're wondering why it's me standing here talking about Peter and his powerful balance of conviction and open-mindedness, I was Peter's coach for 12 years. I myself specialize in innovation and strategy and leadership, and my career in some ways, similar to Peter's, had a background in very diverse areas: army, Met, police, serial entrepreneurship, McKinsey, and like Peter, was very interested in entrepreneurship and public service. And over the years, we spent around 200 hours defining what he stood for and the difference that he wanted to make in the world and how to deploy his time and energy accordingly. Peter he was almost the definition of the flitter-boulder combo. He changed his mind, but he did it on purpose. And why I'm talking with you about this is because I believe this is the best way to be an effective leader in innovation business, in public service, indeed in all walks of life. So Peter turned up to coaching one day, rageful on the sunny afternoon. He came in and he said, someone I'm co-invested with, I better not name, is purposely sabotaging me. Do you know what? He said, he kept saying, Peter doesn't really have the expertise in this topic. Oh, Peter, I think you're mixing up those two businesses. Rant. Peter went, oh, he even dismissively waved his hand once when I was talking. Right? This is Peter's rage, was so big. Now, normally as a coach, when someone's in this sort of state, you calmly listen. You then maybe perhaps validate their frustration. And then at the carefully selected moment, you may issue a challenge or try to change perspective. Now, Peter, over the years, got very quick at this process. So this conversation went a bit like this. This is me. Okay, Peter, so you're pissed off, right? He's trying to irritate you, that's what you think. Maybe he is, I don't know, right? Yes, that's it. Okay. So what about put yourself in his shoes? What do you think he's trying to achieve? He's trying to make me look stupid and he wants to look clever. Okay, don't you all do that at these pitch events? Yeah. Well, what do you think maybe he really cares about? Yeah, making good investments. Yeah, probably the same shoe. All right, I can handle this. Easy as that. Peter's like a train. Okay, facts, he's being obnoxious. I'll deal with that directly. Opinion, I'm assuming about his motivations. I'll deal with that, and I will move on. And needless to say, Peter created a rich, meaningful professional relationship full of respect with this person. These mindset pivots were something that defined Peter Cowley and his journey of growth. One of Peter's proudest achievements was the transformation of the Cambridge Angels back in 2018. Many of you here today will be elated to have been part of the co-creation of the delightful impact that the Cambridge Angels has on our ecosystem here. So back then, the Cambridge Angels was established and was successful and was effective. And Peter came into the chair role and he wanted to go further. And he was super ambitious and he had some hypotheses, as he called them, that we need to modernize. So Peter, being Peter, we set around gathering data, gathering insight, and trying to understand what was really going on and what the Cambridge Angels needed to do to be relevant and effective in the ecosystem. I won't read the whole lot of insight. Quick précis, fusty old men, obnoxious in pitches, detached from the pace of VCs. Only some, right? But Peter, rather than having any sort of emotional reaction, went, great data, let's get to work. So Peter used this data and this insight to evolve and refine his views. And he partnered with many of the angels to think about the new vision that he wanted to create for the Cambridge Angels for the next era, for what the market needed in the next decade. He developed 11 projects that were to achieve this wonderful new refreshed vision. My favorite one was about pitch behaviors, which some of you may remember. In a nutshell, it said, we promise as the Cambridge Angels to provide ego-free pitch experience for wonderful entrepreneurs pitching to us. Peter managed to convince possibly the most giant ego Cambridge Angel to put his hand up and lead that initiative. And you tell me, but if you look at the Experience Entrepreneurs report now, it is a great pitch experience. Credit to you. We have the Cambridge Angels, many Cambridge Angels here. And I think what I will say is that this legacy has had this long-term impact and has created the pioneering standard-setting Cambridge Angels that we see today that is shaping not only the Cambridge ecosystem, but far beyond. So a major achievement, one of many that Peter had. However, in my view, Peter's most outstanding application of strong opinions loosely held was when he began his cancer journey. Peter was diagnosed with terminal cancer, and he created a treatment plan which had a mission, a vision, a set of values. The mission was to maximize his health span. And many of you were involved in helping him make good decisions, data-driven decisions. We had a good friend of both Peter and mine who was asked by Peter to go to his medical appointments, to take careful notes in order to help him analyze the treatment options. And Peter approached his cancer journey with the same meticulous, data-driven approach. He changed his mind a lot of times, but not on a whim, not on feelings, but based on data and how to optimize his mission. Peter died of kidney failure. And I believe that was potentially an intentional and big win for Peter. He had the end to his life that he wanted. I am inspired. That is a very strong application of his strong opinions loosely held as he optimized that final, highly impactful stage of his life. Time and again, Peter Cowley shifted his view when he needed to reevaluate a business opportunity or a market in the face of new data. And time and again, he stood with conviction when others were encouraging him to change his mind. He thought they were pulling the wool over his eyes. It was always with a conscious consideration. And it's no wonder that he created this huge followership and catalytic leadership impact that he did. So what? Well, all of us can do this. This balance between conviction and open-mindedness. There's power in having conviction. There's power in changing your mind, and the power is doing it deliberately. So in conclusion, let's all get a little bit of the Peter Cowley magic. We can embrace our inner flitter, embrace our inner boulder. So what this looks like, bang on the table when you're sure, have conviction, mobilize, motivate, and create coherent action. And when the time is right, choose deliberately a new tack. We can all be a bit more Peter when we embrace strong opinions, loosely held. And thank you, Peter. Your inspiration lives on.